Hello, true art believers, and welcome to today's live art stream. I am the #1 live art streamer in the world. This is Pierson. Not only that, I'm probably the most prolific one. Anyways, today is day 252 of 300 days of drawing, and I'm mixing it up again. I've been thinking a lot and got some things I want to kind of talk about during this live stream, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit along the way. I know I am. Every day is a new adventure. So let's begin today's live art stream. And welcome everyone. I hope you are doing well. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be, let's see, I got to move some brushes. Get this brush right. There we go. Open that brush. There we go. And we got to manipulate some of these things here. Get that out of the way. Good, good, good. All righty then. So let's start today with some drawing, some warm-ups here, using the good old-fashioned hard edge brush like before. And I'm going to talk about what I've been thinking about lately. All right. So we're just going to do some warm-ups first. Let's do a little bit of get this dark tone here. There we go. Just want to kind of get a little squigglies. All right. And just doing some warm-ups, just kind of moving around, getting the flow with it, right? And just moving around, kind of getting the flow going here. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. After I stopped doing my cactus drawings, I like doing the cactus drawings, but like I left, I had to stop. I did 100 of them, and I'm on like 103 right now. And I stopped doing them on my lives because they're just kind of boring to do. It's like the same thing over and over again. I really not a lot of variety to them. I have some other plans regarding the cactuses in the future. Just right now, I'm not going to do them live, and I've been thinking about these art challenges and thinking about how they what their role is with regards to my work. And quite honest with you, I was they're nice to do on like as independent study, but they're not moving my the needle forward, right? I already kind of do those studies in the morning, and even though I do those studies in the morning, I typically kind of bomb these drawings. I typically bomb drawing them in the evening or during a live stream. And so what I'm going to kind of do now is I want to do something that I feel is substantive. So I'm going to do something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I just thought it'd be silly to do. And what it's going to be is it's going to be kind of like me doing a live, but also applying things that I've been learning to get a finished piece done, because I don't really finish pieces on here except for when I was doing those cactus drawings. And something I really have a fascination with, is these these artists that do these phenomenal figure works, figurative works, female figure works. They're really good, and not just like because I don't gravitate towards that because I'm a guy, but like just because like on a purely aesthetic and just skill level, they're just really, really good. And I've always wanted to be good at doing the figure. And so I'm going to be devoting these live streams to kind of talk about some of the things that I know that work that what is it like that I can apply towards my figurative works. And also, I'm going to hit two birds with one stone. I'm going to learn the anatomy that I've always wanted to learn in depth. Like I know it, like, but at like face value. I know just enough to kind of get me by, but I'm not going to be like I can't like espouse it verbatim. And I know some of the techniques that you see all these other artists, these like really highly skilled artists, um, talk about all the time. I know some of those techniques, but again, I can't espouse it verbatim. It's not like I know it like the back of my palm type of thing. Um, and so that's why I'm going to start by doing these live streams where I do well, first off, you see me warm up, where I do these figurative works, and I my goal now, I have a new goal, and I think this is something that I'm really excited about because before I, for the last 50 days, after I did 100 days of cactus drawings, 100 days of like still life drawings, um, those helped me like just kind of form a habit of drawing. I don't know if I improved dramatically. I think my charcoal drawings got a little bit better um, for what it was worth, but the cactus drawings, I think what happened with those cactus drawings, they got better in a certain way. I don't think I like improved. I just kind of like got better at doing the formula, and to some extent, I kind of backtracked because I wasn't really introducing anything new to the concept. So I'm really excited about this because I want to improve drawing the figure, more specifically the female figure, but also heavily involved in like learning the structures and the painting aspect because I'm pretty good at drawing. I suck. I totally suck at drawing at like digitally painting. I don't get it. Like I'm actually pretty good at painting. Like still life, oil paints, brushes. I'm pretty good at that. But I suck. For some reason I just suck so bad at um drawing digitally. Anyways, if you're talking on the chat section, I can't see any chats because my screen's filled with all these things. I have an image right here that I'm gonna be working with, and so I'm just doing a bunch of stuff. I'm just kind of trying to warm up and get used to this. I really suck at my line quality because I don't have smoothing on my tablet. So smoothing on the tablet is supposed to kind of like correct your flow or like these tablets so sensitive, right? That it like will it smooths your lines. And all those art a lot of these artists that you see drawing, uh I can tell when they have like smoothing because whenever they do like a line like this, it looks like it looks artificial. Like it looks so fluid. Um and I'm not using smoothing on mine, so that's why the lines are jagged. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just doing cylinders, spheres, or circles, and lines. I'm gonna do some lines now, just to kind of get warmed up here. They don't have to. I don't have to spend a lot of time. I think I'm gonna spend like 15 minutes or so warming up, and I think that might be what I'll do every live stream. Maybe even cut it down to 10 minutes. I don't know. It depends on how fast. If I am getting better at these lines, and there's some are at these at if I'm improving and becoming more consistent with each like drawing. So now I'm not doing this just to be like silly and wasteful. It's just that every time I do these live streams, I'm always coming in very, very raw, meaning that I'm coming in I'm coming in not not warmed up essentially. And I'm coming in drawing without having any practice. I'm not really thinking about hand-eye coordination and stuff like that. So I'm coming in very, very rough around the edges. And so I'm trying to practice warming up, and there's going to be some utility to that each time I do that. So do some circles, do some ovals, do some ellipses, practice doing some straight up and down lines, horizontal, doing lines that I you normally would, if you want to. A lot of us will want to like pivot our canvas so that when we make a line where it's in a position that's more ergonomic for us. I'm doing it in a position that's really hard for like me. I'm pretty good at doing vertical lines straight up and down. So those are pretty decent, but like I'm a little shaky when it comes to, as you can see, my horizontal lines. So I'm going to do some boxes that are going to have some utility with when drawing the figure for me. Um, right. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to apply some of the things I've been practicing on the side and see how they work in reality, and I'd like to get finished drawings out of it in the end. Um, I'm not expecting any miracles. They're not going to be like those fantastic figure artists that you see. They're going to be decent, probably. They're going to be still rough. They're going to look. There's going to be some inexperience there. Um, I was just thinking the other day, this morning, I was thinking, man, I had Photoshop around like a long, long time ago, and I never took advantage of it. And I just thought to myself, because I got out of college and I was like, I needed a job, and I didn't have enough skill to do like illustration, or at least I thought I didn't. Maybe if I got like an internship, and that's where colleges kind of beefed me. They didn't tr- they didn't train me to kind of look for jobs and look for those type of things. And I had Photoshop, but when I got a job, I did a job that was very, very labor intensive. And at the end of the day, I was just exhausted, right? And I just didn't draw or use Photoshop. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? If I spent all that time drawing, I would be a beast. I would have been a beast, you know. I'm not shabby right now, but like I would have been amazing. Unfortunately, I was young and dumb, and I didn't a lot of people at that it was at the time where people didn't teach you um these things. They didn't teach you those things that are supposed to be, that they don't teach you that, like, applying yourself in that manner. Like, it just wasn't taught, and there wasn't this motivational thing taught. These motivational gurus that you see now, or they were, but you had to go on seminar. You had to pay money to watch them or something like that. But now you can just go on YouTube and find motivation to really inspire you, and it just wasn't available at that time, you know? And so I'm just like, I just thought to myself, man, that would be, I wish I had spent that time, you know, kind of working on it, really, really improving myself. But I didn't. I was a dumb, dumb dummy. And, it just happens. I guess I just didn't have I liked art, but I didn't have like I didn't have the same art motivations that I do now. I look back at it and I'm like, oh gosh, I could have just, if I had just devoted all that time instead of wasting it just on frivolous stuff like I'm not doing now, but like back in the day, I used to just waste time. If anything, all I could, if you want to learn something from this and you want to learn art and you're young, just 4 hours a day, just go at it. You know, I know it seems like a lot now, but like 4 hours a day, you do that. by the time you're in college, if you're really, really young, by the time you're in college, you'll be a beast. You'll be a beast because you'll have probably more experience than some of the professors, and then some of the and you'll be that or you'll be light years ahead of the what'd you call it? You'll be light years ahead of like what'd you call it? The students, your peers, because a lot of them are coming in thinking that the teachers are going to like teach them the secret to art, and when they come in, they come into with some reality checks. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to I'm just going to do like a little oval form right here, just to kind of have the head and to know my head here, and let's just kind of we're gonna just kind of do something like this, kind of guess where the head. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we're going to kind of guess the head lengths. I think it's like 7 head lengths that you do for the figure. And so we got the head kind of in place. It's probably going to be less than that. And so I'm going to be doing this right here. And we're going to start sketching out the structures here. And my goal is to really start learn not necessarily in the anatomy, but learn how to kind of go from simple structures to complex. And then maybe when I get more experience and find some tutorials or find some thing online that shows how people break down the anatomy a little bit better, I will apply that towards my figure. So this is going to be some figure drawing, like female fitness model they have right here, and I'm going to draw her, but not specifically like her. I'm going to use her as a reference, and then draw my own thing. Like her arms are crossed. I think I'm going to have her arm like either do a Superman pose or one arm on the side here, and the other one maybe hanging to the side as well. Maybe like draped down a little bit. I don't know. We won't get to that. I have 10 minutes, so what I'm going to do is we're going to start out by just it's hard to tell with this figure. It's her shoulder is kind of tilted up, so you don't know if she's like tilted up or if literally her torso is kind of tilted up. So I'm going to start out by doing a torso that is slightly at an angle. Actually, no, we're just going to do it straight. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out with these like a box form, just a box form, and then another box form like right here, and then we're going to go a little bit more complex. So we're starting out from simple to complex on this because I really, really want to understand the structures, and I'm going to, my hope is to continue this drawing until the end, and then learn things along the way. So like what I intend on doing is like, oh, I'm struggling with the nose or the eyes, and I watch a few videos, I do a few independent studies on my sketchbook or something, and try to apply that to this drawing and do that. And once I finish this drawing, I move on to another drawing and so forth. And all along the way, I'm talking about some of the new processes that I'm learning, because I'm not getting what I wanted out of this live stream by just like, I'm going to work on a leg for 30 minutes. And like, it doesn't make sense to study just one part. Like I'll study one or two parts on like in like my sketchbook, but I don't have like the available free time to do the things that I want to do. So like, I don't really actually have time to kind of like do fun little studies. Like I'm going to study heads all day in my sketchbook. Heads all day in my sketchbook doesn't really give me a finished product, and I'm trying to get finished products out here. And so this is a way for me to get a finished product, but also learn along the way. it just took me a while to kind of come up with that, figure it out. I was a dummy. Like I'm like it takes me a lot of like mistakes to really get to a point. And so I want you to, if you're watching and you're like, I don't know what to do, all I can say is if you if you are a quarter, like, not even, if you are just an average person, you'll be light years ahead of me because I'm a super slow learner, like incredibly. I have to learn it almost like it's arbitrary. Okay, I'm done talking. Now what I'm going to do is that this is something I was learning from Reich. Everyone knows Reich. Is he kind of used the ball, you know, to kind of facilitate like the waist. And there's some other ones I watch. I like watch Mega Mikey. These guys are really, really good at just breaking down forms. They've done it so much. They're really specialized. I'm like a master of none. And I know a few things. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna find that center line, the torso right here. We got that center line, and we're gonna kind of add like rib structures, like a rib structure here, just to kind of understand the uh, the figure. And eventually I'll be able to do these a lot faster. But right now, I'm very like naive or very inexperienced in this. Um, and I'm worried that just doing this structure thing is going to, um, oops, is going to kind of bog down my drawing. All right, so now we have that, and I'm going to work on looking at the hips here. So I think the drawing, she has like her shoulders are raised up like this, but I think that shoulder is like the reason why it's raised up. I don't think her torso is really torqued much. It might be showing a little bit of the side, you know, but it's not like she's doing a lot of torquing, twisting her hips or anything, or twisting her torso. I think her torso is facing forward, and her hips are kind of at a pivot. So like her hips are kind of like this, right? So her torso is straight like this, and I think she's just raising up her clavicles and raising her shoulders up, and then her hips are the ones that are pivoted. So since since I think that's the case, what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of make this like more boxy. No, we won't do that. We'll make it just kind of like an arch, just a simple arch there. Is we're going to kind of pivot those hips here. We're going to pivot them a lot, actually. So we're going to kind of exaggerate them. And as a matter of fact, they might be even pivoted downward a lot. So something like she's pivoting them down a lot. Yeah, I think they're kind of pivoted down. So we got that box type shape here, kind of pivoting down, and her chest might be slightly raised up a little bit, and her hips are pivoted down, and then her legs are kind of doing they're really kind of rigid. Like this leg's kind of moving a little bit more forward a little bit. We're just going to kind of what we're going to do is we're going to kind of treat them like a stick figure at first, and then we're going to go more elaborate. So I'm just trying to process this in a way that I understand it. And with digital art, you have the ability to go over your drawing and remove the layer behind it. So it's kind of nice to kind of think about it from back to front, you know? So she's got her legs kind of locked out. As a matter of fact, her left leg, this leg right here, is actually, I'm just going to exaggerate it and kind of have it kind of go farther out a little bit. And then we're going to bring this leg down right here. So we're going to do a straight line, like a plumb line, and do a line like this. So she's almost pivoting her hips. It doesn't look like this, the figure that I'm using. I'm exaggerating the motion a little bit. And she's got that clavicle, I'm going to exaggerate the way that she's doing that stance. So I'm going to probably exaggerate the way that her shoulder raises up. Okay, get out of the way. And so that's what I'm working with right now. I have 5 minutes to kind of play around with it, and then I'll come back to it tomorrow and we'll develop it more. And I'll take some things that I need to look into. So I might have to look into legs and torso. So this woman that I have actually has like a really long torso, just like just a really long torso. Um, so what we're gonna do now is I'm going to we're gonna kind of exaggerate the shape of her leg. I'm not gonna add any muscle. We're gonna treat her leg as a cylinder, you know, and that's why I was doing those cylinders at the beginning. I'm not doing I'm not doing those cylinders just to be like, why is this dude drawing cylinders? Let's not let's that let, I want to see some drawings, right? So we're going to add a cylinder right here, kind of like right here, and then we're going to draw a straight line, kind of following that angle. Again, I'm exaggerating the angle. I'm not adding any muscle on here at all. And we're going to do a ball for the knee joint, essentially, kind of like a mannequin, you know. And then we're just going to do another cylinder right here. Um, Another thing that's nice about Photoshop is that you can shrink the image, right? I actually struggle with keeping the figure on the picture plane. And I think talking about the drawing is actually going to help me. All right. So even though her legs are more static, they're more like she's just kind of like has her legs at like a kind of like in just a simple V, right? With a slight pivot of her hips. We're exaggerating it. We're dragging this out a little bit to make it a little bit more dynamic, and to make it more noticeable for me to understand. Um, and so now this leg right here, or pretend that there's a ball socket right here, and right here, pretend there's a ball socket. Because if you think about hips, they're so we start out by doing that your hips, right, are kind of like a box shape. And then there's artists that really get elaborate with it. They have like these really interesting structures, but the box is probably the best for everyone that's starting out with. And you can get really, really elaborate. But I'm kind of thinking that another way to think of it is like if it was like a V, but it was like a V that had like a kind of like a V cylinder, right? Like if this was a if this was a cylinder and you have your hips right here and you put your legs there. So you're thinking about think of it like that. Um, and we're going to I might even want to address by oops, my brush is not working. So now we're going to address this leg a little bit. And we're going to draw a ball here and then kind of just bring this down here. I might change my mind about this figure, um, because the figure I'm exaggerating a little bit too much and it makes me uncomfortable. So there we go. So far, we got these cylinder-like shapes. I'm a little scratchy. I assume that when I keep doing this, I'm going to get better and better at it. And the feet, well, we're going to just treat them as kind of like hooves at the moment. Some people treat their feet like everyone has like special techniques and special like ways of showing different ways of kind of creating feet, Um, but since the feet are really not doing anything, I might just kind of have them kind of do this for now. I don't have enough experience to kind of tell you like how to break down the structure here for the feet. So we're just going to keep it like this for now. Don't know. Like that. She's got her pivoting a little bit, her hips down, and so forth. I'm exaggerating this. I actually, this is new to me to exaggerate the form like that. And I think that's it for today. I'm going to come back to this a little bit later. I'm going to talk about it, and then we're going to slowly define it with maybe go on top of it with red pencil, red, and then go on top of it again with cleaner lines. Don't know yet. I don't know how I'm going to structure this. I'm just trying to show you how I'm seeing it. I might even come back and draw on top of these blue lines and make it a cleaner version before I go on top of it with red, and then maybe even talk about like muscle structures there a little bit before I begin the actual figure part. And then I'm going to learn how to do a few things because I actually suck. I suck at the female figure. Like I can't this I can't do what was it called? Like I can't do boobs. I just can't draw them. It's like they're just weird. I just don't know how to draw them. I'm terrible at them. And I can't really. I don't know how to. I typically over exaggerate or I put too much. I draw with too much line, and apparently, if you draw with too much line on the female figure, it makes them look a lot older. And I'm terrible women lips, terrible female lip noses, terrible at doing eyebrows, terrible at all of it. But I'm going to try to break it down, and I think I'm going to do a little bit better if I can break it down for you. And when I talk about it, thinking about it, it's going to help me process this and kind of come through with a better explanation. So that's it for today. As I said, kind of talked about hips in the cylinder and how to think about these forms. I'm going to come back to it tomorrow. This is something I've been wanting to do, and I'm really excited about it. And I hope you will enjoy the process because I'm going to talk about the process from the beginning to end, literally from the basic structures to things that I'm learning along the way. I'm terrible at digitally painting, so this is going to be a new process for me. Like, even though like my work looks decent when you see a finished drawing, the only reason why it looks decent is because I spend a lot of time fiddling with it. It's not because I know digital media well. It's because I'm like just like struggling all the way. I'm like spending 3 times the amount to get the same result as someone who spends 80% less time. And that's because I just don't understand the medium, and it's just very confusing to me. And I understand drawing. Not an expert, but I understand a lot of these things a little bit and enough to kind of talk about them. Especially if I really narrate them. Anyways, that's it for today. Let's see here. Let's see if I got any comments. I do got some comments. Refinement, wave. Hello. Hey, refinement. What's that mean? I'll refine. I'll clean up the lines later on, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to talk to everyone. If anyone have any questions, I will answer them after the live or after I'm done doing my drawing. When you mentioned about most of your final works, I never finished. You talk about like, was this the really recent? So I never. It takes me a lot of time to finish a drawing. When someone else who has a lot of experience using the digital medium can. Oh, fiddling it. When I mean by fiddling with it, I'm almost guessing what colors I need to be mixing, and I'm using the brushes ineffectively because I don't really know how to use them. There's too many choices. I think the reason why I'm okay at painting is because there's not a lot of choices with what kind of brushes you can select. You can select only a certain amount of brushes. With Photoshop and all this stuff, they just throw all these brushes here, just do whatever, and it's just way too many. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I spend a lot way too much time fiddling around with it. And because of the way that Photoshop works, you can spend on it. You can spend infinite amount of time working on it and still not get it finished. So yeah, some of my work's pretty good. A lot of my portraits are good. They're decent. They're not on par with some of these people that you've seen on like Instagram, but they're pretty decent. But I guarantee you, my decent drawings, I spent three times as much time, or three times as much work as those people that you see on Instagram. It's just because I don't understand the medium, and I see everyone do their like they do like those little montages. I'm like, wow, that they make it look so easy. And I don't know if they have if they're using smoothing, or they using some sort of tricks, or like, because there's like stabilization tools on Photoshop that cleans up your lines. Well, hopefully you learned something. I know a little bit about structures. I know a little bit about figures. I'm not an expert, but I know enough to kind of talk about them. Um, so I like to kind of look at other artists and see how they break down forms, and I find that very interesting to see how people look at structures and how they talk about them. Some of them are a little bit too complex, and then some of them are like in between complex and just the right amount of complexity and just right. Yeah, don't forget, man, to stop by, and I'll be drawing these every day. I think I finally figured out what I want to be doing with these live streams. Yeah, the gesture is really good to kind of exaggerate those forms. Um, I I'm more looking towards uh, being able to understand the structures underneath the figure. So if I understand the structures, I'll be able to understand the figure, and then I'll be able to take those forms and exaggerate them when I need to. Yeah, yeah, foreshortening comics, they're really good at those exaggeration. Hey, look, I want to say thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I really got to go. I really try to keep my live streams at like 30 minutes. I really do appreciate you, and it's been really good talking to you. And I will look forward to seeing you in other live streams. Thank you so much, everyone. I am the most prolific, the most famous live art streamer in the world. This is Pierson. Have a wonderful day. Cheers.